Now, before I get into my Monday Night Raw review, was anyone else confused on why the announcers JBL, Jerry Lawler, and Michael Cole kept on saying that this Monday Night Raw was the season premiere of Raw? I was kind of confused by that, and I kept on thinking, why the hell do they keep on calling it the season premiere of Raw? If it was going to be the season premiere of Raw, then it should have been last week, September 1st, not September 8th. Just going to say that right now. And the other reason why I don't get it is because, what is this now, a TV show? I just have never heard them say the season premiere of Raw before. I never got that, and yeah. Let me know what you guys think of them saying the season premiere. Maybe they just mean for the fall. I don't know, but I really did not understand why they said the season premiere. Now, enough of me bullshitting and giving you guys my thoughts on why the hell they call it the season premiere. Let's get into the Monday Night Raw review. So, to start off Raw, we had Chris Jericho versus Bray Wyatt in a steel cage match. And the whole time I was thinking, why isn't this in the main event? Seriously, this could have been the main event match right here, and I would have been fine with that. But it starts off Raw, which I thought was kind of odd. I think they should have built upon it more towards the show so that more people would be tuned into Raw. Whatever. Bray Wyatt won. It was pretty predictable. It was a predictable outcome because you got to think about it this way. You got to think about it logically. Even if Chris Jericho got over the side of the cage or he decided to walk out of the steel cage, he still has to go through Eric Rowan and Luke Harper of the Wyatt family because they were outside, sitting ringside. So pretty much, Chris Jericho had no chance in hell of winning this match, really. I mean, it was pretty obvious to me that Bray Wyatt was going to win. And I mean, he was the right man to win. I'm just saying, it was a predictable outcome because Chris Jericho could not have gotten through Eric Rowan and Luke Harper and managed to get out of the cage. Just going to say that. He would have had to beat Bray Wyatt inside the cage by pinfall, and that's pretty much about it. But, Bray Wyatt won, but it was a pretty good match. A nice top-of-the-cage dive by Chris Jericho. He was on top of the cage, and he knew he couldn't climb down because Eric Rowan and Luke Harper were there. So Chris Jericho decided to do a off-the-cage dive onto Bray Wyatt, and he took a pretty nasty spill. Good off-the-top dive there, and a pretty good match to start off Raw. But again, this should have been the main event. Then we had Dolph Ziggler show embarrassing leaked photos of The Miz until The Miz and Sandow interrupted, and then Sandow tried to attack Ziggler, but gets zigzagged from behind, and then The Miz retreats. To me, I did not really care for this. It was not needed. I get that these two are feuding for Night of Champions for the Intercontinental Championship, but to me this was just not needed, and it was just stupid. But it was just a way, I guess, because the whole leaked photos of celebrities and all that from last week or something like that. But to me, I didn't really care for this. Then we had Natalya and Rosa versus Paige and AJ. Paige and AJ won. Then we had Paul Heyman out in the ring with John Cena trying to give him a way of beating Brock Lesnar, a secret to beating Brock Lesnar. And that is to respond to the anti-Cena fans and tell them to shut up. John Cena replies with, "I already have a strategy for Night of Champions, and that is to never give up, etc., etc." And he goes on about how he likes to be John Cena. It's basically eat, sleep, be John Cena, repeat, and all this other stuff. And about how he, etc. I mean, you guys know how John Cena is. It was kind of his typical response, but it was a good promo by John Cena and Paul Heyman to build for Night of Champions. Good promos by Paul Heyman and John Cena, with Paul Heyman trying to basically get John Cena to go to the dark side, but John Cena wouldn't. John Cena told Paul Heyman that next week on Raw, either Lesnar shows up and fights John Cena, or Cena will fight Heyman. And later on in the show, they announced that Brock Lesnar will be at Raw next week. So hopefully there will be a brawl or a face-off or something between John Cena and Brock Lesnar. They need something. Paul Heyman cannot carry this whole fucking feud. Just gonna say, I mean, he's doing a hell of a job, but, I mean, yeah. Then we had Seth Rollins versus Sheamus, and Seth Rollins won. It was a pretty good match. Sheamus got distracted by Cesaro, and Cesaro does the neutralizer on Sheamus after the match, after Seth Rollins wins. Good match between Seth Rollins and Sheamus. Then we had Jerry Springer's Bella intervention, and this was just a whole circus. I'm glad WWE did not go with this, but at first they were going to have this gay football player on Raw to address about how he couldn't make the St. Louis Rams and all this, and I'm like, this show is turning into a circus. We want wrestling. We don't care to hear from a gay football player about why he didn't make the NFL. We just don't really care. And save that for the NFL. Save that for ESPN. Don't put that on Raw. And I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad none of that happened. But we got another fan of a circus, and that was Jerry Springer with the Bella Twins in the intervention. This was just a circus segment with Brie and Nikki brawling on top of Jerry Springer. And then Steph and the officials break up the fight, and then Jerry gets stretchered out. Yes, because he got really injured having the Bellas fight on top of him. Yeah, the poor guy, he's so injured. Yeah, get the fuck out of here with that shit. He's not injured. That to me was just a fucking circus, guys. That to me was just stupid. But anyway, so there was that. So I didn't really care for that at all. And to tell you guys the truth, I don't really care about Nikki Bella versus Brie Bella. I just don't. You can tell it's forced. You can tell they are acting, and it's not very good. To me, I would much rather see... I'm fine with Brie Bella feuding with Stephanie McMahon. I think I would rather see Brie Bella and Nikki Bella feuding with Stephanie McMahon. Or even better, I would like to see AJ versus Stephanie McMahon, but we're probably not going to see that. Because, yeah. But I would like to see that match. And during Raw, we also had some NXT guys. And I don't watch NXT, so don't kill me. Don't get all pissed off at me, but... I think it was like Sami Zayn, Neville versus Tyson Kidd, and oh god, I can't remember the other guy's name. But I'm sorry, guys. I don't watch NXT. I don't care for. I just don't watch it. I only watch Raw and pay-per-views. That's all I watch. I'll occasionally watch a SmackDown. That's it. I don't really care for NXT really. I know they're the future of the company and all that, but I just don't watch NXT. So, yeah. But either way, it was a pretty good match. And yeah, that's all I can really tell you guys because I don't really know much about them. So, and then we had Gold and Stardust versus Los Matadores. Not going to talk about it. We had Adam Rose versus Titus O'Neil. Not going to talk about it. Then we had Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns, and it was a slow start but an okay match. And then during the match, Kane and Seth Rollins come down to the ring with the ring people to lower the steel cage again. And then Kane, Randy Orton, and Seth Rollins beat down Roman Reigns. And then Seth Rollins does his curb stomp to Roman Reigns on the steel chair on the floor. Pretty good beatdown and an okay main event match. But this, to me, could have been the start of Raw. But, I guess since they beat down Roman Reigns, I guess it makes sense for why they would have this be the main event. But I would have much rather seen Chris Jericho versus Bray Wyatt in the main event instead of this. But it was an okay main event, I guess. The beatdown was pretty good. So, all in all, for Raw this week, guys, if you missed it, you really didn't miss much about this Raw. This Raw was pretty passable. Really, the last 2 weeks have been not very good. Some people have been bitching about it and they don't like it. This week of Raw is not really that great either. To me, like I said, if you missed it, you didn't really miss much. But again, though, the steel cage match was good. Paul Heyman and John Cena's segment with the promo was good. And the Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton with the attack at the end was alright. And that's pretty much it. That was all that was really good about Raw. The rest of the show was just kind of filler. It was kind of boring. And the only reason I may watch Raw next week, the only reason why I may watch Raw and do another Raw review next week is to see a possible confrontation between John Cena and Brock Lesnar. And that's pretty much about the only reason why I would see it is to see Brock Lesnar come back. So, hopefully they have him be back in a good segment next week, because if they do, I might watch it. If they don't, well, then yeah, I'm not going to review it. But that's all. That's going to be my Raw review, guys, this week. Luckily, it did not go 14 minutes like it usually does, because I really did not have much to talk about. But anyway, I hope you guys liked my Raw review. Like my video, it really helps out my channel. Subscribe to my channel, that also helps out my channel. And I will talk to you guys soon.